Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name's Josh. Thanks for joining me today. Beautiful Monday. I love the Blue Jays. If you guys don't like the Blue Jays, just unfollow me. I'm just kidding. But if you like baseball, we can be friends. Absolutely. Took Weston to a baseball game yesterday. It was really fun. He wanted to leave after the first inning. He's like, how long is this going to be, Daddy? And I said, it's like 4 hours. He's like, oh, he didn't even watch the game. Those tickets are expensive. But he got some ice cream, man. We had a really good time together. It was really fun. But today we're talking about LoveMeg. Yours and my favorite. She's doing something crazy. I haven't talked about her in a hot minute. She's so fun to snark on because I don't like her. So let's go. So if you don't know who LoveMeg is, you're just good, okay? Good for you. I'm proud of you. But if you do know who she is and you're here for the snark, then this is somebody that I've been kind of talking about for eons. Kind of one of the earliest people I've been talking about on this channel. She's such an enigma because she comes across as such a sweet, darling, Southern belle, this and that, but she's really, really, really not nice to people. That's the whole thing. She called me a pedo, so that's why I talk about her. But so apparently I haven't seen this video. Somebody said she's traveling, they're selling some shit, and they're moving and taking their dogs or something. I don't know. It's Snark Monday. That's what it is. So let's just get to it. Let's have some fun here with no blend.
All right, guys. Today's the day. We're gonna give you guys the big announcement on
what's the hair? What
has been going on with us. And when you find out, you're gonna be like, oh, I know whose idea that was.
Yes, I think so. It's gonna be hers. Because you run the show, Meg. Okay.
So, why don't you tell them?
So, we have been noticing that a lot of our neighbors were selling their houses. And we were seeing what those houses were going for. And some of them were the exact same layout as ours. And we were realizing that the value of our house has like doubled in 3 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy, and I believe them.
And so we started talking about it. We're like, man, there's not often that you can have that situation where you can buy a house and then 3 years later you double the price. So,
yeah, it was like we were flipping a house and didn't even know it.
Yeah, and even though
then you weren't flipping a house. You just landed in a good market. So, no.
We didn't really ever intend so much to leave this house. We're like, we can't pass this kind of an opportunity up. So we
That's stupid. Yes, you can. You can leave your family in a house that you said was going to be your forever home. What do you mean you can't pass it up? Where are you going to buy another house? I know this is probably going to travel, but what's next? Yeah, you sell your house in the place that you live, but that's every house is going for that price now.
We decided one morning, like, hey, let's sell the house and we'll move. And we didn't exactly know where we moved to yet. But then we started talking about it and we're like, well, it's really a good time to sell a house, but it's not a great time to buy a house because everything's so high. So what if we just rent for a little while? And so we kind of decided to do that. And then
Which you guys have seen us do before.
Yeah.
Sell a house and then rent for a little while.
Bit, yeah.
And we got some O's in there, and we got decorated with some shit and all that shit. Trailers.
And so we said, we'll just rent for a year or two until the time's right. And then we started talking.
Decorations are trash in this house. Like, what is the green wallpaper over there? Is it just me? Do I have bad taste? Because that looks like garbage to me. That looks like it's straight out the 50s.
Talking about, well, where would we rent? Because we can work anywhere we want. And
I like how he says where we can work. Dude, you don't do shit. LoveMeg has told us what you do, Mr. Fire. You can't change the batteries in your fire alarm. We know. Used to be firefighter, this guy. And now he's literally, I don't know, I think he's a travel agent, but he probably doesn't even do that often. He probably just does the books for her business. I don't know what he does.
So we started throwing out this place and that place. And then kind of jokingly said, what about Lucca, Italy? Because we've been to Lucca. We spent about a week there before. And
so yeah, move your entire family there. You spend a week there. So you clearly know the lay of the land. You know you know everybody who lives there. It's just such a great idea because you've been there for a week. You know LoveMeg's the one who goes to like Jamaica or Mexico or something, comes back with like the thing with the beads. She just has one though, or she has her whole head done and she's like, I just went to Mexico. I'm authentic now. You know she does that.
Loved it. I mean, it was an amazing little town in northern Italy.
And not just jokingly, but like Justin literally looked up a place showed it to
I'm
me
looking
on
at
his
rental
phone.
houses.
And I'm standing there in the kitchen and I'm like, I cannot tell how serious you are. Because like he's telling me just like this. And Justin, like if you know him, he has such a dry sense of humor.
Really? You guys are both dry. Drier than the Sahara Desert. Than the Mad Max movie. You guys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know if you're serious about this. Like, are you picking? Are you joking? Like, or are you
I mean, because you don't have a say, Justin. I make the money.
serious? And he's like, I'm dead serious. And I was like,
Like, okay, Jess fam.
Then.
So then it was a lot to think about. It was figuring out like, well, okay, if we do this, what about visas and what about staying here or there?
Oh, you know, what about your kids? I hope you say that comes into the conversation a little bit. Does the kids come in?
Obviously the dogs.
The dogs.
Dogs?
Be able to go.
Yeah.
Dogs first. Okay, so, you know, how's it going to work with this? Then the dogs. And are you going to talk about the kids? Kids weren't your first concern? Your dogs rated higher than your children. I believe you.
And, you know, how can we get them there and how do we do this? What about a car and just
car?
all
Okay.
these things. And so kind of the rest of that day, which was only
They did not I don't know if you missed that or something, but they didn't mention their kids at all, like their schooling and it was just like, how are we gonna get visas? What, a car? We need to get our dogs there. Oh my God, what about all this stuff? Your kids are like probably sitting off like, what about us? Are we staying here? Are we going to? Are we allowed to go? What about us? They did not mention their children.
a few days ago. We started like really kind of looking into the details, and what we ended up deciding would be best for us due to like visa requirements and stuff is to move around and not stay in one place. And so we started looking at
That's real healthy for your kids too.
and I'm like, you can actually rent Airbnbs at a monthly rate because you're usually discounted then. And we can just like pop around a month here, a month there, maybe 2 weeks here, 2 weeks there, that kind of a thing. And so
Sounds super fun. How are you going to do content, LoveMeg? You going to decorate other people's shit? What are you going to do? I'm going to take this Airbnb and completely change it because this sucks. And the guy comes back like, you guys can't touch my shit, lady. You guys are in trouble.
It'd be really fun anyway.
yeah,
You know,
because then we'll get to see all of Europe. We'll get to move all over the place. Take the dogs with us, take the kids with us. So that is what we.
So essentially, we
going
are becoming digital nomads, which is
Digital.
like a new term, I guess you could say. But you know,
Stop with your thumbs. Thumbs. I'm sorry. Look at the thumb. Her fingers are weird. I don't care what anybody says. She got weird fingers.
people who work from anywhere, traveling around and making money by just
By what?
doing their content or, you know, whatever.
Again, your content literally is your shitty ass crushed velvet couch and vacuuming your damn floor. Are you literally just going to clean Airbnb? Is that what you're going to do? I mean, if people are renting, be like, oh, see, they cleaned it nicely. But like, that's other people's houses you're going to have to put in for content. Like, what are you going to, I don't understand. Are you sure you can do that? I guess.
Online, whatever digital thing that they do. So that's what we're doing. But a few people have texted me today and they're like, I need to know what's
Nobody texts.
going on. Because I said a little something about it in the last video that I posted on YouTube and also on my Instagram. So
What about your paid site? How's that going? How's that going, LoveMeg?
a few questions have been asked and I'm like, I'm really glad they've asked these questions so I can go ahead and answer them because I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to have the same questions. So
I have one. What about your kids? Don't you hire a teacher to teach your children? Because clearly you guys don't do it. Justin probably could. Why are you guys not centered in your frame of your camera? Also, who's going to teach your kids? Are you going to do it? Because you have to do digital media content, LoveMeg. Is your husband smart enough to teach kids? What? What? Are you allowed to do this? I can't believe parents are just allowed to just like go live out into the wild and they don't have to educate their children. FizFam is one of those ones, and like there's a bunch of them that homeschool their kids that don't homeschool their kids. The kids don't go to damn school. They just say they homeschool them, but the kids don't get any education. Like Danielle Cohn is one of those ones. It's like there's no way that that girl goes to school at all. No way in hell.
the first one was, what about the dogs? Because
So even your fans don't give a shit about your kids. That's cool. Cool.
I think like there has been like this whole like misconception about like getting dogs over there. So much like we didn't even understand it. We thought that dogs were gonna have to be.
I can't stop looking at her fingers. They are an enigma. They look like bacon wrapped enigmas.
Quarantined if they went over there. I mean, that's how we got Bailey in the first place, is because our neighbors, when we lived in North Carolina, they were moving to Hawaii. They said that he was going to have to be quarantined for 3 months, and they just didn't want to do that to him. And so that was one thing that I was like, if the dogs have to be quarantined, it's a deal breaker. Like, I'm not going to do that to them. But Justin looked.
What about your kids? Again, there's literally not been one mention of the kids yet.
It up.
Turns out they don't have to be. They have to get like all their shots, and they have to have the chip thing in their ear. So they get like a puppy passport. Yeah, they do a blood test on them and stuff, and they get like a little puppy passport for getting
okay.
Yeah, and Justin even
next. I worked for an airline. I know you guys probably. I've told you this a bunch of times. It broke my heart when I was putting dogs in that front pit of the plane, because there's a back pit where the bags go, and then there's a front pit that's generally, has oxygen in it. That's why the front pit's there. You put dogs in there, and all that kind of stuff. It's like regulated heat and oxygen and everything else. And so, but whenever you put a dog in there, that dog is like, drug your dogs if you're going to fly them in an airplane. Like, get the right meds, do what you got to do to make sure that those dogs just sleep, because that is traumatizing for dogs. And I've seen it firsthand. Gus would go bananas if I wasn't around him, if he just woke up in the cockpit of an airplane. I can't even imagine the trauma that puts on a dog. But I get it. At the same time, I'm glad they're taking the dog with them, because they're not just leaving it behind because they want to go live their nomadic lifestyle. Whatever.
And everything, so that everything's fine with them. So it's not just like when you take them on your airplane, like a regular airplane flight over. This is like they're set up just for this.
A little bit nicer for them. Yeah, it makes them a little bit more comfortable and stuff. So, and it actually wasn't that expensive either, because when Justin was telling me about it, I was like, that sounds real bougie. Like, how much is...
Does it sound bougie to take care of your pets? Okay.
Does that cost? And how much was it? It wasn't...
Was it $500? I can't. Something
per dog?
Yeah.
I'd have to look it back up. But
you told me
per dog?
1,000, so I don't know if it was for yeah. So I mean, that's less than a plane ticket for us to get over there. So I was like,
because it's a dog. It's gonna be a crate underneath. So yeah, it better be less than a human.
Wow, that's really worth it.
Sounds real fun for your kids and your dogs.
The timer will be counting.
Yeah, so...
I mean, to some people this probably does sound really nice, but not with children. That's all I can think of. Is like, could my wife and I possibly go somewhere for like 6 months and do it if our kids were, grown out of the house, kind of college? Probably, and I might enjoy myself. But with kids, man, I don't know. Like, what about school and friends and uprooting them and everything else, and they're moving and then... But I guess a lot of kids do. I mean, I moved 44 times, and it is what it is. But I feel like if you don't have to put your children through that, don't. That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I'm not happy that I had to go through all that. Probably, military kids I know go through that a lot. I'm just saying it's probably not the most healthy thing for kids. That's all I'm saying. Not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying if you have the opportunity to not let it happen, just my 2 cents. Or 1 Canadian quarter. It's a moose. Okay.
Lately, you can see we've been trying to like road map it out.
Yeah, like, okay, if we start here, we could work through for these months and then be in a safe zone, then maybe into Morocco from Spain to buy some time there and stuff. So,
speaking of road mapping it out, we are having our car transported over there too, which wasn't as expensive as we thought it was going to be either.
Yeah, but then you got to bring it back.
Ship your car for like $500 to $1,000.
Are you serious? That's it? Really?
To ship it over there, you're still legal to drive as long as you don't stay more than a year and stuff like that. There's a few little stipulations, but you can do that. Which, if it was just us going, we would do train travel. Mm-hmm. We would do train travel and then get cabs if we need it for little short things. But with taking the dogs, that really really changes it and the amount of things that we'll need to take. So for that,
This doesn't sound fun. I love my dog, but I wouldn't go on vacation with my dog for a year. Are you kidding?
like we will, and plus,
I mean, I wouldn't go on a vacation for a year. That's what I'm saying. Because I have a dog. That's why. Because I wouldn't leave my dog.
the dogs, we won't want to stay like in the city center every time. We might want to stay right outside of town where they can have a yard, you know, at the house that we're renting. So for those, you know,
if you yawned, hit subscribe.
the train will take you out there to the suburbs. So
Yeah, you're gonna need
take
a car.
This is really awesome. Boring. So boring. Holy cow. Look at this huge life update.
But we're actually going to save money because we won't have to have train passes, and we're not going to have to rent a car.
But you can get thumb surgery while you're in Turkey.
Or to get out to the country if we're wanting to stay on the countryside somewhere.
It's way cheaper to take our vehicle than it would be to get train passes or train tickets or rental car or any of that.
Yeah, if it's only $1,000 to get it there and back, yeah, way cheaper. Absolutely.
We will save a lot of money by taking our own vehicle.
How long do we plan to do this for? And when is it going
Till the real estate market crashes.
to start? So
As soon as we started talking about it, I told Megan, I said, I will stay until you say it's time to come back.
yeah.
Get it. So just leave then. You again, if you don't have anything really holding you down and you really, really enjoy that small town in Italy, there's nothing wrong with that. What I have a problem with, even though I don't matter, is your kids moving around for a year. That's again not good. I mean, they're not gonna have any roots. That's just me speaking out about not having any roots. So that's all I'm thinking. And like, there's nothing wrong with it because inherently you guys make your money online. So I get that you have the freedom to do what you want. But this screams selfishness to me is what it screams. Like any family vlogger who makes any decision, they do it for themselves, not their kids. Look at Bits of Brie. They made that decision to move to Hawaii because it's good for content, whatever the case may be. Tried to save the marriage or whatever it is. And now, nope. Just these big things to save marriages or whatever the case is, to save your channels, to change it up, often don't do it. It just reeks of desperation. That's all it reeks of. And people see it. And they just start losing interest.
I know he would. So we're actually going to
Justin probably like, look, either we go to Europe or I'm out. And I'm going to Europe by myself.
be in the States and for the rest of this year because we've got Rachel's wedding coming up, which is my cousin, and then my brother's wedding is in October, so we don't want to miss that. And then just
watch what happens. The housing market's gonna crash right before they sell their house. So they're going on a trip before they go on their trip. Real nice. We're so like just trips on trips. Don't forget the snacks on snacks. What about the kids on kids? We don't give a F about them kids on kids, okay? We don't care.
So we need to be close to my family so my mom can watch the kids while we go to Israel in December. Okay. So with all that being said, it just doesn't make sense to go over to Europe until 2023. Also, at some point, we're gonna have to set up our domicile, which is like the state that you live in, because we're still American citizens. You have to pay taxes.
You have to have an address, yeah.
So you have to say that you live somewhere, even if you don't live somewhere.
Even though we won't have a permanent.
Do you still own the trailer? You can use that, I guess.
Residence.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you have to attach yourself somewhere, and some states allow you to do that, like Florida, I think South Dakota. Maybe Texas,
I think he said.
Yeah, there's a few of them that will let you, like, you can say that you live here, even though you don't permanently reside here or own a home here or whatever, but you can still pay your taxes and things like that. So.
Yeah, I would do it in Texas, Florida too, because they have no state taxes, so less tax. Win.
Yeah, and I told Justin, if we get over there to Europe and we're there for 3 months and we decide this is too hard, let's go back home, it will be worth it. Like, there's
what if it's 3 days?
No expectations on my end. I'm just like, it will be so worth it if we're only there for a little while.
The experience of it is going to be amazing because it's not going to be like when you go over there for a week-long trip or a 2-week trip, this will be living in the community. And obviously we will go to some of the big sites and see some of the big stuff, but a lot of the time we're going to be in the small towns. Like,
yeah, what about your kids? They still haven't mentioned anything about the kids.
Staying in the small towns and eating in the small restaurants and going to the little attractions and things like that. So it's going to be really immersing ourselves.
She has bigger hands than he does. You can't unsee it now. You're welcome.
In those local, what's the word I'm looking for?
Community.
Yeah, the communities and their cultures. That's where.
Culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll be like immersed in those cultures, so it's going to be a really cool experience.
Also, the nice thing about, like, if we do decide we don't want to stay over there as long as we're thinking we want to, then we will have that money that we have from selling our house, because we're not going to touch that. That's going to go into
investment, and then we can just, we can go over there.
So this, okay, now I'm understanding the plan. They're going to sell their house because we're double what they bought it for, right? So they pay off their mortgage, right? And they've been there for 3 years, so they get a little bit of equity. It's not going to be like double the equity. Well, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to be. It's probably going to be a few $100,000, right? But for LoveMeg, that's not actually a lot of money. She made a bunch of money on YouTube. She doesn't make that much anymore. And so they're going to put that into investments. They're not going to touch that money because they're just going to wait till the market crashes, sort of kind of thing, or see where they want to go next or something, right? Wherever houses are cheaper or whatever, right? That's probably what they're going to do. And so instead, during the time that they're waiting, they're going to go travel, and their kids are going to not be in school. Cool.
Live on our income and have that money sitting back over here. And so when we do decide we've had enough and we want to come back and settle down, then we come back and buy a house then. Or
what about the kids? Please, somebody ask about the kids.
Whatever we want to do, or maybe come back to the U.S. and be nomads here.
Yeah, so we're just going to let that money sit in an account.
Yeah.
So
no one cares.
We have a backup plan. Don't you worry. I'm sure some of you guys are.
We're not worried. We know it'll fail.
Like, oh my gosh, when you come back, you'll be starting from scratch. We're using our income that we make online to do this, which we're actually going to be saving money by doing this, which is wild.
How do you know? What if there's an emergency? What if you can't get the Airbnb you want? It's not going to be cheaper. There's no way it's going to be cheaper. Are you kidding? You're going to be shopping every 3 weeks. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be you're going to just throw out a bunch of food, go to the next place, get groceries again. You're going to have to new restaurants, new sightseeing. This is going to be really, really, really expensive because it's basically like a long, long, long vacation. So when you're at home, you tend to not go out and do crazy expensive shit all the time. When you're traveling, all you do is expensive shit. Otherwise, it's really boring.
Because, I mean, you think about all the home projects we do, all the decorating we do. We're not going to be buying clothes because
why?
You got to carry it. Yeah. So there's so much that it's just it's a very fluid way of life, and you can't be attached to things.
Yeah.
So.
Like eyebrows. But, hear me out. What do you mean? What? You just said decorating and all the kinds of, what are you going to do for your content, Meg? Your content is this. It's literally decorating and cleaning.
Yeah. We were going to end up homeschooling the kids ourselves this year anyway, because our teachers last year working with us. And so we were just that was another thing that it just wasn't tying us down to a certain place. You
were going to homeschool your own kids after hiring a teacher to school them for most of their life, okay? You think that's smart? What qualifies you? Okay, these influencer parents, don't ever get this twisted, okay? None of them that I've seen are smart. Okay, so no. And also, they're so self-involved and busy. How are they really going to see if their kid gets a good education? Because of all the family vloggers I've looked at, snarked on and everything else, the ones who are homeschooled, those kids, nope. Just look at the new one I'm covering, what's her name? Tiana Tavolia Clementine or whatever her name is. Those kids, no. Okay? Homeschooling is good if you are good at homeschooling, if you can be dedicated to doing that with your children. These parents, family vloggers, cannot be dedicated to that for their children because they're dedicated to themselves, and we know that.
As much as I love Savannah, I just feel like this is an opportunity of a lifetime. And whenever we do decide to settle down again, I'm like, Justin was talking about a few different places, and I'm like, I'd come back to Savannah. Yeah. I'm sure you guys are probably thinking, like, content is about to change so much, and it is. But I'm still going to be doing homemaking content because we're a family living in a home. So that is not going to change.
Several homes.
Yeah, we're not staying in hotels at all, and so we're still going to be living life in different homes. So I think that would be really fun for you guys to watch, like seeing us in different homes, like every 2 weeks or once a month, or you know.
What if you get into a home and there's a dead body? I don't think you thought this through, LoveMeg. I think what they do, your fans who are your fans, and you got some fans, they come to you for that comfort. They know what they're going to get when they come to your channel. They know they're going to see you vacuuming this crushed velvet couch, the same carpet, that you're going to clean your mirror, and you're going to clean your mirror dresser, and you're going to make shitty muffins. They expect that. Like, there's some comfort to them. So when you're going to be changing up the house every 2 weeks, not only are you going to have to get to something, you're going to have to stay in nice houses, which is going to be more expensive, but you're going to be like, cleaning other people's houses? I don't know what you're doing. This is weird.
However often we're traveling, maybe we decide to stay in one place for a few months. Like, we don't know.
We don't know.
So still going to get the homemaking content, but you are going to get like a lot of day in the life and traveling around Europe.
So they're changing it to a travel vlog. That's what they're doing. That's what she just said. Hey, look, it's going to be less homemaking and more of us showing you the world. And but maybe that's the pivot they want to do. Maybe. You can pivot. That's cool. Still going to be LoveMeg, though.
And especially on Justin's channel, there's going to be so much of the logistics of it, how we're traveling around.
Oh, Justin's channel. I see. Okay, I see.
Around, maybe how, like...
Call it traveling eyebrows. Because he has really bushy eyebrows.
How it is with the dogs, that whole process. And
I think, like, in the past, whenever I film the travel videos for Justin Planned It and Megan films them for her channel, it's like Megan's is more from the family perspective, the family point of view. And mine is more from like okay, if you're coming here, here's what you need to know about this place, and more.
Which I could just Google anyway. TripAdvisor exists. You know that, right? You know that TripAdvisor exists.
Logistical and facts and some of the history about some of the places. So it's kind of a different, even though we're filming the same trip, it's a complete...
So it's just something you can totally get online by other people who are better at it than you? I got it. Okay, just checking. Just checking.
Completely different viewpoint.
Yeah, very much our personalities. Yeah. So yeah, content is going to change, but still be the same.
No, it's not.
You guys will see. We're basically...
How do you know? How do you know we'll see? You don't even know. Liar.
Taking our backpacks over there.
Just like we did in Italy.
Yeah. So when we go over there, it'll be winter time. So we will have our winter coat, sweaters, boots, you know.
Okay, we got it. Winter, got it. Yeah.
So that one's going to be a little bit harder to pack for. But someone else texted me and asked, like, are we selling everything in the house? Are we just getting a storage unit? Like, what's the plan? And we're really only keeping the very sentimental things.
Like this blue ass couch.
Are getting rid of 99% of our stuff, 99.9%.
Because when they get back, they're like, okay, now it's shopping time. Then she has a whole shit ton of content to be like, okay, we need all new stuff. And that's it. That's their life that they live.
Of our stuff. And we are going to keep...
Dibs on that couch. Dibs. I'm buying it. I'm buying it and burning it.
A few things that we feel like we'll need for the summer over there. So we'll have like either a box or a duffel bag, whatever's easier to send over. And we'll just have someone from my family ship it to us, like our summer clothes. Okay. And then we will send our coats and boots and winter clothes back, so we're not having to lug that around the whole time.
Yeah, and I was going to say, one of the good things is, you know, when we went to Italy last time,
let's just get a trailer while you're there. Buy a trailer, like a little cargo trailer. Costs a little more in fuel. Then sell the trailer when you leave. Probably get like almost the same price for it.
Just carried our backpacks, and while we are packing in our backpacks to go on this trip, we will have our vehicle too. So we will likely have room for, like you said, maybe one duffel or something like that to keep a couple of...
With 2 kids and they have 2 dogs, right? 2 kids and 2 dogs? You have room for duffel? No. What's your vehicle? Sprinter?
Spare items.
You got like a Mormon family van or something?
Clothing items and stuff. So there might be a little bit of room for rotation there, more than just the backpacks, but
the kids are going to get to keep their Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, it's still going to be, the kids will bring their Xbox because we have the car.
Yeah.
They definitely wouldn't have it if we had to carry it on our backs the whole time.
The dog beds will go in the car too, so whenever the car gets shipped over.
How big is this car?
All that'll be
in there.
So and that's the good thing. I mean, and we won't have a lot of room because it'll be the 4 of us plus the 2 dogs.
Yes, and duffel bags and dog beds and all her eyebrow wax and shit.
Smallish. Yes.
And her thumbs. You guys have to earmark some space for those thumbs.
But we'll have a little bit of room for some stuff. I'm gonna get one of them cargo things to go on the roof.
Oh yeah, that'll make things a little bit easier too. So basically, we're road tripping around Europe. And that's very different too. I feel like you never see people go over to Europe or become digital.
It happens all the time.
Nomads when you're a family, and not just a family, but a family with dogs. And you go over there and you're road tripping.
This is them convincing themselves. Okay, this doesn't exist. I bet you I Google it right now, I'd probably find 3 channels that do exactly what she's saying right there. And they're probably as bad as her.
You're not just flying from city to city. And
a lot of travel vloggers will go there for a short time to travel around and see things. But then most digital nomads, they get like a country-specific visa so they can stay in that country for a year. Road tripping through, which is not, like you said, it's not something that you see.
Oh my gosh, I'm so boring. Good, thank God.
If you guys have any more questions, feel free to ask on here.
Bye. Wow. So they mentioned the kids for like 2 seconds that they're just going to homeschool. No logistics with the homeschooling, about how they've done it all. Again, I almost wouldn't be in agreement with this if it was like for a summer, right? Kids are off for the summer, go for 2 months, go party, do whatever you want to do. I get that. But they're literally uprooting their kids to live their dream. And a lot of parents do this. I get that. I'm not trying to say it doesn't happen. I'm not trying to say kids don't move all the time because they do, and I'm an example of that. But again, it's just really just for, they think it's going to save their channel as a pivot. Either channel or marriage or both or whatever, I don't know. But we all know LoveMeg's probably going to be upset when she gets the wrong questions, that's for sure. Because it's LoveMeg, let's be real, Justin's eyebrows, so. They should call it Thumbs and Brows, Travel Europe. Anyway, everybody take a deep breath. Thanks for being here with me today. I really appreciate you guys, and remember, Yankees suck, go Blue Jays. Every single time, Blue Jays, okay? They're amazing. Vladdy. I got Guerrero's jersey. Guerrero. So, don't forget, you're beautiful, gorgeous, brilliant, and exceptionally valuable. Don't you ever forget it, and I'll see you tomorrow.